We're going to get started right here, guys. Once again, make sure you got a water with you. It's going to make us stay hydrated throughout, but we're going to start off here where we normally do in this lunge position. We're going to do that 3-phase hip flexor hamstring circuit just to get our bodies dynamically warmed up. And then we're going to slow it down, more passive throughout the rest of the class. We're going to start off here in this normal lunge position, hip flexor stretch here, pelvis neutral, torso upright, and then driving that forward. Feel that stretch right in that hip flexor. From there, we can drop it down. Spider-Man stretch, pelvis driving into the floor. We're going slower round one here, then we're going to speed it up in consecutive rounds here just to get the body moving a little bit. It'll allow us to be a little bit more aggressive as well. And bring it back, hips over that back leg, front leg extends. We have a hamstring stretch right here. And drive it up. We're going to go through that a few more times here. But again, we're going to be speeding it up here as we go. So you can be a little bit more aggressive if you want. Again, not going towards pain, but try to feel that discomfort, that tension. Basically, a rule of thumb is if you feel like you're about to relax that stretch and it's the muscle's about to like snap back, kind of like a rubber band, you're putting a little bit too much tension on it. But throughout this dynamic warm up, you can be a little bit more aggressive if you feel comfortable with it. We're going to take this down here into a Spider-Man. Again, drive that pelvis into the floor and bring it back. Back up. Drop it down. Bring it back. I'm going to go through one more time here. Driving that normal hip flexor down into a Spider-Man. And back into hamstring. Go ahead. We're going to switch there. Warm up both sides here. Again, normal hip flexor. Slower here first round through. Speeding it up in those consecutive rounds. Drop it down. Spider-Man. Hip flexor going into the floor. Bring it back, hamstring. Back leg over that back leg. Or hip over that back leg, front leg extends. And back up a few more times through here. Drop it down. hip into the floor, Spider-Man here. And drive it back. A couple more times. Bringing it down. And back. One more time through here, guys. Spider-Man. And back into hamstring. All right, from there, you guys can switch back to the first leg here. We're going to stay in this hip flexor stretch for a little bit longer here. Now that we got those muscles warmed up, we want to take advantage of it. And we'll start in this position here, hip flexor, where we're going to hold it a little bit longer. If you need a little bit of an extra stretch, try turning into this top leg. We have an iliopsoas muscle that runs up into the rib cage here. Could be a good way to stretch it through that rotation. Go ahead, switch over to the other side now. Again, same thing. If you want a little bit of an extra stretch, feel free to rotate into that top leg. As we're doing these longer stretches, make sure we're breathing through the diaphragm here, not through the chest, expanding at that stomach. That's going to help calm our nervous system, allow these stretch adaptations to take effect. There you can relax. You can join me here on the ground. I'm going to start off one foot coming in towards the knee, other leg extended, hamstring stretch. Again, as we're in this passive mode, you can just let your body weight be that stretch. Do not feel like you have to grab on to your toes. Just let that body weight bring you forward and initiate that stretch. Go ahead, dip your head if that feels comfortable for you. And again, main focus here, just on breathing. Go ahead, you can switch there. Opposite leg now. And as you start to feel that tension release a little bit as the stretch becomes more comfortable, every few breaths, maybe 4 to 6, feel like you can go ahead a little bit further if you're able to. From there, you're going to open up the stretch here, just straight down the middle. Same thing, body weight, pulling you forward. As you get more comfortable, your hands can crawl out a little bit deeper. Go ahead, raise yourself back up. We're going to go through those same 3 stretches here, starting off with that first hamstring. Again, you should be able to go a little bit deeper probably as a starting point than you were on that last rep, or at least deeper than you started off in the last rep. And then again, just keep progressing forward every few breaths if you're comfortable with it. Go ahead, raise yourself up, switch over. And when we do these classes, when we do these passive stretches, we like to hold them anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds in these classes. If you're doing them at your own, on your own time, feel free 100% to hold them a little bit longer. You might not get necessarily more of an increase of a stretch, but it might be more of a relaxation, more meditative process that you're able to relax a little bit more comfortably and kind of just absorb yourself in that moment. So up to you when you're at home, depending on how much intensity and time you want to devote into any stretch that you do. From there, we're going to go back into this V stretch. And relax. What I want you guys to do next year is similar. We're going to have one foot over the other. I want you guys to just roll out the ankle here. We really want to get this full body going. And when we're sitting for a while, it's easy for blood to start pooling down the ankle. It's something we want to avoid. So we want to take some time just flexing the toes down, dorsiflexing, pulling the toes back up towards the shin, eversion and inversion, and just basically just rolling that ankle, just getting some blood work going back in there. Again, basic movements, just front and back, side to side, but you really can just get a full circle in there as well. Go ahead, switch that over. Now, like you did, maybe you start with these smaller movements, forward, back, side to side, and then you incorporate some full in round movements as well. All right, from there, we're going to finish off, as we finish off pretty much every class, with that 4-way neck stretch, starting with the chin down to the chest, stretching the back of the neck. In this moment, shoulders relax, arms, hands wherever you want them. If you want to relocate yourself to a chair so that your arms can freely dangle a little bit more at your sides, feel free to. Go ahead and raise that back up, tilting it back here. Bring it back down here. Ear to shoulder. Shoulder stays relaxed. Ear goes to the shoulder. Shoulder does not come up to the ear. Go ahead and raise it up. Switching sides there.